casting, let me know. And here we are, right into the game. Game 1. Kato versus Raven. On Last Refuge, Night Elf in the bottom left, we have Kato representing perfectly balanced. And in the top right, our orc opponent and competitor, Raven, also known as Control Alt QQ. Now, see what we open up with here as Orc, getting that altar first, and Burrow. Looks standard to me, suggesting maybe not Headhunters. Maybe Grunt's Blade Master? And gonna go for Ancient War Creeping at this green camp down here as well. Not too familiar with these players' styles, but we are at the 1600 level. Higher than I'm accustomed to. So we should see some really nice gameplay today. And Blade Master, as anticipated. Will we see a barracks or a quick tech first? Usually we'll see either a tech right away, then the barracks, or barracks first, then a tech, depending on how greedy the orc wants to be and how quick they want to tech to tier 2. And Keeper of the Grove coming for Kato with some archers to support. Thank you, Fragilities, for the follow. Hope you enjoy the cast and enjoy the game.
A player's forces are under attack.
And the Ancient War Creeping has begun in the bottom camp. Keeper of the Grove should be out just in time to soak XP from this Ogre Warrior. Get that creep camp done as efficiently as possible. Right on time, the Ogre Warrior will fall, granting XP and a circlet to the Keeper. Unfortunately, those trappers and Blade Master will sell the TP. Bought a circlet and 2 healing salves to support the harass. No clarity potions.
A player's forces are under attack.
So we'll be stuck and not be able to refill that mana pool when we get down to critical levels. We'll need to retreat back to home base if things get a little too out of hand. Night Elf continues creeping, the standard route, going for the green camps, while the Blade Master does disrupt and will take this item from the Troll High Priest, and the Blade Master will be rewarded with a Wand of Illusion for his troubles. And that is one less item going to the Night Elf player, as Raven goes for a couple last hits on the Ents. Wants to get that archer kill. Will instead focus fire on the Treant. And denied by Kato. Nice deny. Plenty of mana left for the Blade Master. We are going to tier 2. Tree of Life coming up. Some Expo attempts. And Raven wants none of it. Will do everything he can to cancel that Tree of Life. Illusion comes out. Will aggro the creeps to help take down this Tree of Life. My creeps assisting Raven here in his efforts to take down this Tree of Life and prevent the Expo. Deny that strong mid to late game presence. But it's not enough, and Windwalk will need to be used, and just enough. 5 health. Escapes by the skin of his teeth, and will retreat back home, popping a salve along the way. Tier 2 is now online. We do have Shadow Hunter coming. And what will we see in terms of unit composition? Spirit Lodge is on the way up. Will we see some Raiders, Mass Wyverns, a couple Kodos? It's all on the table here. And Kato needs to get back on his creep route. And that Tree of Life will survive and hopefully make its way over. Kato did miss this. Was invis the whole time. But no mana potions. So Raven has to be careful when he pops that Windwalk. Will do it now. And Focus Fire on the Keeper. Kato does not care, creeping right in Raven's face. And will take the XP from this Forest Troll. Shadow Meld used by the archers to protect themselves, as the Blade cannot get any free or easy kills at this creep camp. Kato does want to get this Expo up and running, eating some trees with the Tree of Life, and will take down this Expo and this Ogre Magi in efforts to get his Expo online and operational. Top of the map, we have Raven creeping and leveling up his Shadow Hunter, getting to that critical level 3 for some very potent healing wave. While the Blade Master continues to be a nuisance for Kato. Kato really wants to get this Expo creep down. Shadow Meld used just in time. Archer surviving with 2 health. Needs to keep that Archer Shadow Melded, as it will fall right now. Blade Master does expend the last of its mana and will try to teleport out, getting out with 41 health. Will pop a salve and be right back to mid-range 400 health area, as he probably will head back down and re-engage with the harassment efforts. Tree of Life slowly making its way over to the Expo. Will be online soon enough. Tier 2 finishing up for Kato. Will we see some lures? Some wins? What will the Tier 2 composition of Kato be? As Raven going for the natural, but doesn't look like going for an Expo, as no peons are on the way. Shaman are coming out. Will be purging those treants, getting rid of those summons, and also being able to purge those entangles. A Tavern Hero from the Night Elf player for some extra healing to counter and be able to deal with the healing of the Orc player, to be able to have some sustain of his own. The treants are coming out now. Will disrupt the Orc base. Cancels a burrow. That's a nice cancel. And going for some peon kills before it does get burrowed up and does get a peon kill. All these peon kills will add up. Trying to delete some burrows. Get some value out of this push. The peons are repairing as much as they possibly can, as Raven coming in to defend home base, pushing away some of those huntresses. Entangles are coming out on the Shaman. Do not have any purges on those entangles just yet. The Blade Master coming to support as well. Still level 1. Needs a couple kills to get up to nice level 2 and get some critical strikes. Another Shaman will fall. And the small army of Kato, just enough to do some disruption, get the job done, cancel some burrows, and prevent Raven from creeping, while the Expo gets up. That's really the goal of this push here. Delay and distract while the Expo gets up and operational, and it looks like most of that job is done. Now, how will Raven recover from this? We do have more Shaman coming out. Burrow was restarted. Still on tier 2. Got to get some levels for this Blade Master, get some critical strikes rolling, as the Night Elf is transitioning to nothing just yet. But the Expo is now online, and soon will be taking an economy lead. Go for the Merc Camp at the south. Get some levels for the Alchemist. For some healing spray, I would assume. Some wounded hunts. Love some of that heal spray, would love some of that moon juice. As the shop is pulled by the Orc. Did get that critical strike for the Blade Master. That will come in handy for some beefy single hits on those archers. And yes, as stated by luckiest player in the chat, getting those Shaman kills, very big. Those do add up. Less purges, less casters to deal with. Still sitting at rank 0, Initiate. Only with Purge at the moment. The Purge is really what you're, where you're going to get a lot of value in the mid-game here. To get rid of those treants, get rid of those entangles. As a Moonwell, I believe, sitting right here was cancelled. I'm not quite sure. Was it blocking pathing? I kind of missed why that happened. As we are on tier 3 and no follow-up unit composition outside of mass hunts at the moment, as Raven is here to disrupt this expo. Wards are down. We'll be focusing those hunts as they do amplified damage to the unarmored. Mass hunts in here. Purges on the entangles to free those grunts. We do have those critical strikes starting to come in from the Blade Master, 72 damage. Low mana on the Night Elf player. This will hurt a little bit. No entangles, no healing spray. And plenty of mana to go around on the Orc army. And plenty of wards. Low health grunts will want to get those back. One grunt does fall. That does hurt a little bit. And a damage grunt right here. Alchemist continuing to ping-pong the Orc army back and forth, doing pokes wherever he can as archers are rolling out to support, and a third hero, Priestess of the Moon, with True Shot Aura to amplify the damage of those ranged units, and does have enough damage to draw back the Orc player, at least temporarily. And the Night Elf Expo will stand. As the Orc Expo is on the way, didn't go for the fast Great Hall, just the slow Great Hall. Reinforced defenses are here. This will become a tough mine to take over for the Night Elf player. These reinforced defenses are very strong, specifically against only piercing damage.
A player's forces
And I don't believe we have any upgrades for these archers yet at tier 3. I expect marksmanship, longbows if we are going to stay archers. Maybe hippos. But no tier 3 composition yet outside of 0/0 archers on tier 3. But we do have no orbs. We do have an orb of venom on the keeper. That's good. We're going to want to get an orb on that priestess as well as soon as it's available. And potentially some searing arrows to help with the DPS output. That's Raven coming in for the laboratory. Injured grunts, gonna want to get some salves on those, and a healing ward is dropped. That is going to be very much needed and liked from those grunts. So we do have damage, and those archers are just out of range of that tower. No danger whatsoever. We will get a little damage on the alchemist, but that's nothing that can't be staggered off. And repair efforts started by these peons. You're gonna need to get a little bit more repair until you have your rescue army coming from the back, mirror image popped, and the battle is beginning. Kato will disengage and reposition. While we have Lightning Shield coming on the illusions, will be doing damage. This does allow the illusions to do some DPS to the army. Very nice move by Raven. Raven does retreat slightly just to reposition as mass archers are coming, and they are coming fast. And there's a lot of damage on mass archers. Gonna need a lot of units to deal with this. And one thing that can deal with it is a level 6 Blade Master. Blade Storm could disintegrate that entire army. But you're a long way away. Maybe some horse stops from a Tauren Chieftain. We'll see how the grunts fare. The grunts do have high normal damage and a high health pool, but there are so many archers. It is going to be tough to crack this critical mass. The Wisps are here to do detonates, get rid of the mana of all the casters. We do have Lightning Shield on the Blade Master to help with the AoE damage against the archers. The archers are falling left and right. Grunts are doing their best. The grunts are also falling. Treants out to help with the defenses. Is it enough? Does the Orc army have enough DPS to handle all of these archers? All of the grunts are now dead. One coming in from behind. Treants are now falling. Shaman here to help with those purges. Illusion and Healing Wave doing everything the Orc can to sustain as much health as possible to handle the mass archer play from Kato. Healing wards are now dropped. Will the archers target it down to get rid of that healing? Focus fire now on the Blade Master. Is it enough? We have enough mana on the Blade Master for another Windwalk, but an illusion is used instead. Does he know which one is the real one? Windwalk is popped to get out of there. And about 4 to 5 archers left versus 2 grunts, 1 injured grunt going back home, 1 shaman, 43 food for Kato, 35 food for Raven. And both players are on tier 3. And I don't believe we have marksmanship yet researched for the archers. If my War 3 booster is serving me correctly here. We do have 2 damage upgrades for the archers. They will start doing incredible amounts of damage. I don't believe... Actually, 700, so I guess long-range arrows was researched. But I'm not seeing it on my booster UI, unfortunately, for the upgrades. So here's the state of the game right now. Both players tier 3. Try hero for Kato. The Alchemist did get targeted down, did get handled early on in that fight. Mass archers. Now, mass archers, a lot of DPS. When you get that critical mass, they are hard to deal with. Tauren Chieftain stomps with Lightning Shield can help. Raven, also tier 3. Now we have Adept for the Lightning Shield on the Shaman. That's going to be critical to help with the damage against those archers. Especially when they're clumped up. It's going to be very effective. Also, no Dispel from the Night Elf. So those Lightning Shields will not be able to be dispelled. Going to be forcing the Night Elf to reposition. As both heroes are on the way to level 5, Shadowhunter will hit level 5 and will probably be taking level 3 heal wave, which will be very effective against the high damage output of those archers. And we do see level... Nothing taken yet. So we go for the first red camp of the game. And Kato, level 3 heal wave was taken. Kato going for the heal camp. Sorry, the red camp over here. And for his troubles, got Khadgar's Pipe, I believe. Which is definitely going to help with the mana regen of the Night Elf. Nice little mini Brilliance aura. Both expos still online, pumping as much gold as possible to the respective players. And we are staying on Shaman. Now Bloodlust is live. And is a good play. There is no Dispel from the Night Elf. Those Bloodlusts are safe. And a Pit Lord for some cleave. Is Fat Russell in the chat? Fat Russell would be very proud. Going again, trying to pressure this Expo, doing anything they can to take it down. And Bloodlust is now out for those Grunts. Those Grunts are now very scary. A lot of DPS on that Priestess of the Moon. Blademaster is focusing the archers in the back. Would love to see some Lightning Shield on that Blademaster as well. Priestess is getting focused down. Healing Wave, anything that can happen here. Healing Spray, sorry, from the Night Elf player. Grunts are now focusing the Keeper of the Grove as Healing Spray is spraying down the archers, spraying down the Priestess, and the Keeper has decided enough is enough. I need to retreat. I need to get out of here and live to fight another day. Level 5 on the Shadowhunter, level 3 Healing Wave. That is a very potent heal. And Blademaster right behind. Level 5 coming. Will we see a retrain, or are we going to maybe see a level 2 critical strike? Very curious to see what gets decided here. Pulling back the level 5 Shadowhunter. Good play. Good attention to small detail there. Soaking as much XP as possible. It looks like we don't want to get level 5 on the BM. Want to soak all the XP for this Pit Lord and get level 2 quickly. And then we have the Howl of Terror. That's really going to help against that Archer DPS. And some hunts coming in to help to support the melee damage of the coming from the Grunts. Be able to provide some body block. Protect the backline of those archers who are now, I believe Marksman is trained now. 2 upgrades. Would love to see a 3rd. And True Shot Aura stacking on top of that. These are deadly archers doing 27 to 33 damage per attack. And Raven is here, destroying whiffs. Didn't get the detonate off, and level 5 is now awarded to the Blademaster, and level 3 illusion mirror image is taken. There will now be 4 illusions on the field, and maybe want to Lightning Shield all of them to spread that AoE damage across all of the archers. The Treants are out and may be purged down, but looks like mana will instead be spent on Bloodlust. Howl of Terror hits some of those hunts, hits some of those treants. The Blademaster doing everything it can for those critical strikes. Healing Spray is out. The Priestess doing a lot of damage with Searing Arrows. Can the Keeper get some critical entangles? Keeping that Blademaster from doing auto attacks. You need to keep that Blademaster locked down as the archers are falling, and they are falling fast. A lot of damage coming from the Orc player, but archers are focus firing these grunts down, getting them down one by one. Pit Lord in the back, taking critical damage. Keeper has fallen. Can the Night Elf retreat and regroup? This is a scary Orc army. That Blade Master with Bloodlust is capable of soloing almost every archer in this army with those auto attacks. And the critical strikes just chomping away at the heroes, and look at the archers melt via the Blade Master, and a great game by Raven to go 1-0 against Kato. Great play, and it really looked like early game we had a big advantage from the Night Elf player, being able to kite those grunts, being able to take advantage of the slow-moving Orc army without scroll of speed, right? But once the Bloodlust was online and there was no Dispel to counter it, no Dispel from Spirit, what are they called? The Spirit Walkers, I think. And no, sorry, it's a Night Elf army. No Dispel from Dryads to take care of that Bloodlust. Bloodlust was free reign. Orcs have increased move speed, increased attack speed. It was just so hard to deal with, and all of that damage onto those archers, they just melted one by one. And once that Blade Master gets that critical strike rolling, has that Bloodlust, he's just unstoppable. And not to mention, behind all of that, you have the Pit Lord gaining levels and the Shadow Hunter chain healing everything in that army to keep it as sustained as possible. Well played by both opponents. Looks like the Fast Expo attempts from the Night Elf didn't quite pay off, and staying archers for tier 3, moving into hunts, staying on that tier 1 army, but hoping to get that critical mass was just not enough to prevent the Bloodlust and Grunt army of Raven. Moving into Game 2. Looks like we will be on Autumn Leaves. Choice of Kato. So this is Kato's pick here. Need to race up. Oh, we hit random. Maybe we'll be lucky and Kato will get Night Elf. We'll see. About to find out. And, oh, we got lucky. Do you want to... Okay, well. Alright, going back anyway. And I tried. You see my feeble attempt here, but I was not fast enough. Gym 3. Alright. We'll give this one another shot. A rehost. Regame. Races are picked. Autumn Leaves is the map. We are ready for game 2. Fix my booster here. We have Raven up 1-0. And a slight switch in starting spot now. Now the Night Elf is bottom left. Not sure if there's any advantage. I think this is a pretty symmetrical map. I don't believe there's any advantage to starting top or bottom as there are on certain maps. And looks like a similar build order for the Orc player. Raven probably going Grunt's Blade Master again. Had a lot of success with that in Game 1. No reason to believe we won't try it again on Game 2. Similar build order again for our Night Elf player, Kato, looking to take back Game 2 and tie this series up 1-1. Will be Ancient of War creeping again in the bottom left. And we do see a War Mill up early, suggesting potentially some Headhunters on the way. And Barracks to follow. Maybe a transition off of Grunts. Farseer, Headhunters, looks like, is the play. Keeper of the Grove again, just like Game 1. Those entangles are going to be very crucial against those Headhunters, to be able to secure some kills. Those Headhunters are fast. They are great at poking. And the Orc army is just so good at being able to poke, hit and run, and just all around be a nuisance, especially in the early game. Disrupt your creeping, harass your main base, kill some whiffs that are mining very quickly. High DPS with those Headhunters. The Wolves are able to harass and target units, force you to constantly reposition. Very difficult to deal with if done efficiently and effectively. Ancient War creeping underway here, as we will wait to kill this first creep until that Keeper is out. Keeper is now out, and Keeper was able to soak that XP. Just on time. Very well done. As the Farseer and Wolves are coming. But Kato knows. Kato has scouted. Kato knows what is coming. He knows Headhunter's Farseer is the play. How will he react? First creep camp is done and taken care of. One treant may fall, as I'm sure the Wolves are right-clicked onto it right now. First treant falls, grants a little bit of XP, 20 XP to the Farseer. And here is the Orc early harass. Going to right-click that Keeper with the Wolves, force it to constantly be repositioned, thus resulting in no DPS coming. One Wolf also potentially right-clicked on the Archer, but will retreat to avoid feeding XP back to the Night Elf. This Wolf also will be retrained, resummoned. Over here, only 2 Wolves maximum allowed on the map for one Farseer spell. So once the Wolves are low enough in damage, you can resummon them to avoid them dying, unlike Water Elementals and other summons. Trying to push that Archer back. Right clicks now on the Archers. The normal damage of those Wolves doing amplified damage to the medium armor of the Archers, but it's not enough. Need to retreat it back. Don't want to feed that unnecessary XP to the Night Elf player. You do not want a level 2 Keeper the Grove with Entangle and Treants. That's going to result in a rough early game for the Orc player, as Farseers are starting to come out
A player's forces
and be
are
massed
under
up
attack.
and accumulated over in the east side of the Orc base. And Kato is just going back to what he has to do. Get the Keeper to level 2. Get those Entangles rolling. Be able to secure kills while avoiding Archer deaths. And the Orc is doing what the Orc does best, harassing. Preventing players from doing their flowchart. The better you can disrupt the game plan, the better you control the game. And a nice surround by Kato on the Farseer, forcing a TP. That's going to be very valuable for Kato, as no more TP for the Farseer. Now has to wait for Tier 2 to finish, wait for the Voodoo Lounge to purchase another town portal, preventing the Orc from pressuring as much as he can without the portal. It's insurance policy. Going for the early Expo, potentially. No Tree of Life this time, so just going for the natural. Getting that Keeper up to level 3 as quickly as possible. Archers, enough DPS to take down the rest of these trappers. As the Orc is accumulating 5 Headhunters, that critical mass of ranged. Tier 2 is finished now. Who will we see coming out second? I assume a nice Tauren Chieftain.
A player's forces are under attack.
But perhaps some more healing sustained like last game. Level 2 on the Farseer now. Nice Chain Lightning will be coming out. And in great fashion, having those Wolves soak all the damage of the creep camp. As Kato wants to get in here, cancel some burrows, cancel some Spirit Lodgers. A great timing in here just in time to cancel those Tier 2 buildings. Really delay the start of the Orc Tier 2 army and potentially take some Peons and burrows along with him. Only a couple Archers here. 2 more following. Is it enough DPS to handle the repair of the Peons? And now he has to deal with not only a Farseer with Chain Lightning and Wolves, but 5 Headhunters, as 1 Headhunter does fall. And the Alchemist out again for some healing spray. We'll need to pop that soon to prevent death of the Alchemist. Treants are out, doing everything they can to fend off these Headhunters. Those Entangles are critical to make sure you can secure those kills before those Headhunters do run away. Another Entangle on another Headhunter. 2 kills. Can we get a third on this other Headhunter back here? That would be a really nice hit and run from Kato. Disrupting the Orc creep route. Disrupting the Tier 2. And another Entangle. This Headhunter will also fall, but it is denied, preventing the XP from transferring over to the Keeper. However, it wasn't enough, as level 3 is granted, giving level 2 Entangle to Kato. But it was enough defense to keep the Spirit Lodge in progress, getting those Shaman out. Tauren Chieftain is now out, and now the Orc game plan, get that Tauren Chieftain to level 3. Creep it up. Get that level 2 War Stomp. Very important. And I believe Slippers of Agility going to the Alchemist. The Keeper's going to want to get healed up, and Dryads are coming out, so a pivot from last game. Want to have something to deal with that Bloodlust, to deal with that Lightning Shield that we did see last game from the Orc player. Farseer now hits level 3, and I would expect the Farseer to be pulled back and let this Tauren Chieftain creep up to level 3, but we will see a clash at this tavern. Creep Camp going to be pulled back, doing everything they can to secure some of those Creep Camp kills. But Raven is going to have an engagement with Kato. Kato is here and wants to do everything he can to disrupt this creep. Fortunately, no Dispel able to get off for the Wisp. The Wisp will fall. One less Lumber Harvester for Kato. And just a little stalemate here. Poking. Just kind of poking back and forth. Getting some of those picks with the Entangle. And resummon to avoid giving that XP away. Another Entangle on those Headhunters. I know the pain of those Entangles when my footies just fall one by one by one by one to the Keeper. But Purges are now here to deal with that and negate. The longer, the more into the mid-game the Keeper gets, the weaker it becomes as Dispel, as Purge becomes a thing. 2 of the 3 of Keeper's spells can be just totally negated by Purge. So Trance and Entangle both can essentially just make the Keeper a big archer. So Keeper not the strongest mid-game hero. Tauren Chieftain extremely strong mid to late game hero. Need to get that Tauren Chieftain up to level 3. A little bit of a lull in the match here as both players just trying to keep an eye on each other, make sure nothing surprising is happening. Back at home base, continuing the Dryad production on tier 2 still, and in the Orc base tier 3 now, getting Adept training, get some Lightning Shield rolling. 53 army for the Night Elf versus 40 food army for the Orc. And we do have an engagement here. Headhunters will do amplified damage to the Dryads, but Envenom spears from the Dryads will be hurting those. Can you spread it? And now we have Berserker upgrades on the Headhunters. That is going to result in a lot of damage and a health point increase. Big upgrade, but does the Night Elf have just too much? A lot of archers, a lot of Dryads being microed properly here. Tauren Chieftain and Farseer forced to be pulled back as the damage of the Night Elf is just too much, and we will get another Headhunter kill here from the Dryads. Those Envenom Spears doing a lot of damage over time. Now, if you can get that damage over time spread to all of the Headhunters, that's a very large DPS throughput increase. Healing salves out on all of the wounded units for the Orc army here, and the Tauren Chieftain just stuck at level 1. Really want to see that Tauren Chieftain getting up to level 3. We have Chemical Rage as well as Healing Spray. Or is it, not Chemical Rage, the other one that reduces the armor. Don't remember the name, fortunately. But it will reduce the armor of those Headhunters, make them easier to kill. Acid Bomb, there it is. Thank you, Luckiest. And Focus Fire on the Voodoo Lounge, eliminating the opportunity to buy Clarities, to buy Healing Salves, to buy anything. Can you get that shop down? That would be very critical. Maybe buy a couple last items. Healing Salve is purchased before it falls. Getting one last item purchase out of there. And Focus Fire on the Tauren Chieftain, on the Headhunters. Entangle is out to try to secure some of those kills, while the Alchemist is soaking a lot of damage from these Headhunters. Will get hexed and staffed back by the Keeper. The Tauren Chieftain is here, but Stomps aren't going to be able to do anything against those Dryads, so instead he stomps the Keeper of the Grove and gets a surround off. Does the Keeper have a town portal? Yes, he does. Will need to pop it, but Hex is here just in time, able to get the town portal off and retreat and get out of here as Bloodlust is now online for the Orc army, and this Orc army is about to become really scary really quickly. Tri-Hero on the Orc army now. Hex is here to prevent some of those TPs, some of those item usages, secure those surrounds. some critical hero kills can result in turning this game around.
A player's forces are under attack.
And trying to get that Tauren Chieftain up to level 3, but we are going to share XP soak across all 3 heroes here. Get level 2 on that Shadow Hunter as well. And an Expo is up and operational, but is scouted by Raven. Raven now knows the economy lead is going to be going to Kato very shortly. He needs to make some drastic moves. You don't want this to go too late of a game and have that economy lead start to take effect for the Night Elf player. Doing everything we can to get that Alchemist up to level 3 and the Keeper up to level 4 to get level 2 Treants. Make it that much harder to deal with, as you now have to cast an additional Purge per wave of Treants, reducing the mana for the Shaman. Less Bloodlust, less Lightning Shield. But all Dryads here. Dryads are a nice army comp against the Tauren Chieftain. Stomps aren't going to be able to be effective. However, the Orc is here. Peekaboo. Turn around, Kato. Look out. Tauren Chieftain is here. Bloodlust is here. Tauren are here. Is it enough as Cyclone comes out to deal with that Tauren Chieftain? Entangle used, Focus Fire on the Tauren Chieftain, staff the Alchemist out. The Treants are here to support some of the front line. One Tauren will fall. And Kato needs to keep kiting. You have to keep kiting. Don't lose those Dryads. There is a lot of damage from the Orc player here. Those Headhunters will be able to melt those Dryads. And same with the Tauren. They're bloodlusted. They are fast. They are dangerous. Tauren Chieftain doing everything he can to secure another kill. And with that, Kato falls to 54 food versus 40 food of the Orc army. Still has not broken upkeep yet. On single base, that is very important to maximize all of the gold income from this gold mine and not get taxed by the Warcraft politicians.
A player's forces are under attack.
And continuing to creep. Raven got that critical level 3 for War Stomp. But the War Stomp will be less and less effective against an increasingly present army of Dryads. But Stomps can be critical against the heroes. Stomp, Hex, Chaining, very effective. If you can get Focus Fire, Stomp, and Hex, preventing the usage of a town portal, you can get very critical kills as the Mountain Giants are here to deal with those Headhunters and basically just stagger off all piercing damage, especially at full upgrades, and will also be good for Taunt to deal with Tauren Tauren damage. Treants also here to support the front line. We do have 2 Mountain Giants. Mountain Giants haven't been seen much this patch, but they are here now. They are here to deal with this Orc army. Taunts are going off. Taunt recently nerfed, will not auto-cast anymore. So you do have to manually cast that second Taunt. Here we go, an engagement has been decided. Tauren Chieftain with the War Stomp here. Healing Spray to keep those Mountain Giants alive. Dryads focus firing those Tauren down. Berserk popped and Bloodlust popped on the Headhunters, doing everything they can to get Focus Fire on the heroes. Smartly damaging. Now shifting a focus to the Dryads as the Dryads are shifting focus to the Headhunters. Cyclone used on the Tauren Chieftain to keep it at bay. And will be slowed down with the poisonous arrows and a surround on the Tauren Chieftain. The Tauren Chieftain only has a greater healing to keep itself alive. Will it be popped? Will he pop? No! Town portal around to be passed to the Tauren Chieftain. The Tauren Chieftain will fall here. Is it enough to secure a victory for Kato? And a staff used right on time. Dryads are also falling. The Orc army is still present here. 46 food, 68 food. A lot of that food is invested in these Mountain Giants. The Mountain Giants doing work on the Tauren with Entangle here to secure the kill. No mana available to purge and get rid of that Entangle. The Mountain Giants are so strong right now. Another Shaman will fall thanks to the piercing damage and envenomed damage of the Dryads. Farseer does get level 4 with that Dryad kill, and Farseer doing everything it can to hold off this Night Elf army, but this Night Elf army is very strong, and the Alchemist will be coming back into play soon enough. Shadow Hunter being focused down and will be killed. Level 6 Tranquility for the Keeper of the Grove. This is going to result in pretty much invulnerable Mountain Giants. Once enough mana is here for the Keeper, this is going to be very tough for the Orc player to defend against. And Healing Wave, unfortunately, a little in the middle of nowhere there as the Mountain Giants pivot, grab some trees to do some siege damage, and take down this Expo. And Raven doing everything he can to keep that Expo alive, repairing with all his might. Wolves are here to deal damage. Manual Dispels are cast by the Dryads to get rid of those. Nice technical micro there from Kato. And another battle is ensuing. Focus Fire on the Farseer. Dispel. Purge on the Entangle, but not enough. The Farseer will fall. GG is called, and Kato brings us to a 1-1. Great pivot by Kato here. Love to see that Dryad pivot off of the Mass Archers. Very powerful. Able to handle those wolves. Able to handle the Lust. And with that, it was the right composition. It was the right army to deal with Farseer, Tauren Chieftain, Headhunter, and eventually into Shaman, Tauren Chieftain. So we are going to game 3 to settle the score between Raven and Kato. Who gets the 2 points? Will it be Perfectly Balanced? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Perfectly Balanced or Monkeys, I believe, is our, what is the game name? Gym 2? Gym 3? Oh, wait, I got messaged. Gym 4. Okay. Alright, here we are. Race up, boys. Race up. I will have this here ready to hit enter if they say R. I'm going to be faster this time. Alright, cool. Players are ready. I am ready. The crowd is ready. Gym League is ready. We are now going to game 3. Alright, and with this, we will settle the score, settle the series on Echo Isles. And we do see in the chat, Orc Tower push incoming. And you know, let's try something here. I haven't done this before, but can we do a prediction? I haven't really done a prediction. Let's do a prediction if it loads. Create a new poll. Who wins the series? Kato, Raven. Duration 1 minute. Allow additional votes? Is that what I want? I don't know. Let's just do that. I don't know what it's gonna do. I've never really done a poll like this before, but let's see what the Gym Newbie League thinks about who's gonna win this series. Kato versus Raven. I guess you could set it so you can bet channel points. I guess I did that wrong. At least on other polls I watch, you could bet channel points, but perhaps I did that wrong. Oh well, we're learning here. Just like the Gym Newbie League itself, you're also watching, and I think this is Baron's quote, Gym Newbie Streamer as well. An Ancient of War coming up top for a green camp creep. Barracks out. No War Mill. Going to be going Blade Master Grunts for the Orc player. It looks like the running favorite here is Raven. Orc player favored 3-1. Courtesy of the chat. And Raven does win the poll. Raven 3-1 favorite to win game 3.
Forces are under attack.
How will this go down? Ancient War creeping, going as standard. Nothing surprising here. Wisps here to scout, seeing what hero is out. Now, Kato knows it is Grunt's Blademaster, just like Game 1. So we know what errors Kato made in Game 1 that led to the victory from Raven with mass archers. Mass archers transition slightly into huntresses. Now, what are we going to change in Game 3 if we know this is the army comp? Going right to Tier 2. As the Blademaster finishes up this creep and does get a Ring of Protection. A Ring of Todd. As Kato continues on, creeping, soaking all the damage with those treants. Love to see that little minor detail there that really adds up in the long term. Peon here, maybe just for a continual, perpetual scout, or an early setup for a tower rush?
A player's forces
Curious.
are under attack.
Elizabeth's here with the Tree of Life. We will see an early expo attempt from the Night Elf. Just like in Game 1. So similar strategy to Game 1. A lot of archers. Maybe some huntresses. Late Tier 2. And an early expo. From the Orc player. Grunt's Blademaster. Quick Tier 2. And last time we saw Raven go to a Shadow Hunter. For some heal waves, for some sustain, for some extra damage with the Serpent Wards. And we see a very similar play here with just some small adjustments. And finishing up this creep camp very cleanly here, taking all of the damage on the treants. Slight damage on that archer there, but we could shake that off. That can easily go back and get healed, as the treants are getting a little overwhelmed by the creeps here. But it should be just fine, as some hunts are now here to support. Blademaster finishes this creep camp, and for its reward, I believe a Wand of Lightning Shield. And probably bought a circlet. We saw Raven do that Game 1, buying a circlet from the shop. And our first visibility of the armies here, and now Raven knows the plan. Just like Game 1, going for that early expo, attempting to cancel that Tree of Life, doing everything he can, but getting bashed by the tunnelers. That's just gonna be a minor inconvenience for the Blademaster here, as the grunts are online, pooled up at the main base, and doing everything we can to fend off that Blademaster. Get back to creeping, open up that mine so the Tree of Life can plant down and tangle that gold mine and start siphoning gold to get that economic advantage in the mid-game. Tier 2 halfway through, another Ancient of War, suggesting maybe some mass Tier 1 again. Tree of Life on the way down to secure that expo. Blademaster is not going to have any of that, and maybe we'll just wait around. Oh, but visibility with those Sentry Owls. Very nice upgrade by Kato here. Get full visibility of invisibility units. Make sure we don't have to deal with the pesky Blademaster stealing creeps, sniping creeps, and sniping items from the creep camps. Blademaster here to take down the Sogra Magi, take the item, and probably get out after that. As grunts are pulling up, and we'll split creep. Now, grunts and Shadow Hunter are going to go take out potentially this Merc camp down here. Tree of Life planting, beginning to take over the gold mine and produce some wisps. While we get Claws of Attack 5 for plus 10 on the Keeper. Very potent Keeper right now. And sorry, instead of the Merc camp going for the natural expansion. Split creeping. Blademaster back at home base, going to heal up. And Shadow Hunter getting level 2. Working on getting level 2 from this creep camp. Almost there. 12 XP away. It's just one more unit. And we may have our first engagement here. The Alchemist yet again for Kato. Loves that Alchemist. Loves that Sustain. Loves that Acid Bomb.
A player's forces are under attack.
Here we are, grunts again. And why all grunts? I can't tell you specifically, but it did work in game 1. With the grunts having Lust, the grunts having Lightning Shield, being able to take care of those archers. And we may see a similar strategy again as the Entangles smartly going on the casters, on the Shaman, being able to take care of them. And there's a lot of extra DPS here from the Orc player with those Serpent Wards, but it's not enough to scare the Orc army into retreating. The Orc army is here, and hunts are now coming into play. These Serpent Wards will do amplified damage to the hunts. They will do a lot of damage to those hunts with the piercing damage, and in critical mass, the hunts will fall, and they will fall fast. Grunts well equipped to handle the glaive damage from the Huntresses. They have a lot of health. 800 health with some sustained healing incoming from the back line with this Shadow Hunter. And we want to get this kill. Kato wants this kill. We'll cancel that salve. Can we get one more auto attack? The peons block. And not enough. Can't get through. Can't crack through and get through that base and secure that kill. That grunt escaped with its life. 7 health. Keeper and Alchemist retreating. We do have Wisps scouting. Hunts coming. Archers now on the way with the glaive upgrade. More Moonwells and no tier 2 or 3 units from the Night Elf. Meanwhile, just like game 1, Shaman on the way. Shaman grunts. Proved effective in game 1. Will we see a similar outcome in game 3? Circlet goes to the Blade Master, a welcomed upgrade, nice to each attribute.
Player's forces are under attack.
As the Wisp comes down, hopefully to detonate, but gets caught in its tracks and deleted. Expo coming up for the Orc, wants to match the economy lead of Kato. Kato with some reinforced defenses, getting Ancient Protector, moving that Archer back very nice, as to not damage your own army with the Lightning Shield.
Player's forces are under attack.
Taking down the Merc camp finally. Raven, as the Blade Master, back at the Merchant, going to buy. What are we going to buy? Bought a potion. Lesser Invulnerability. Alright, so now the Blade Master has an insurance policy, unless he plans on giving it to the Shadow Hunter, preparing for a focus fire from all those archers. And, just like in game 1, mass archers. I believe we do have the longbows upgrade. 1 damage upgrade. I don't know if marksmanship has been researched yet. It is in research now. Increases damage by 4, an additional 4. We do have some frontline here with the Huntresses. So pretty decent Night Elf army at 63 food. But we have a 47 food Orc army that is becoming scarier as the game goes on. Bloodlust will be coming out, and there's no Dispel right now from the Night Elf. That was one of the problems with game 1. There wasn't anything to dispel that Bloodlust. And it just resulted in those grunts being incredibly dangerous. Did Kato forget Orb? I do not see Orb of Venom on either hero. The Priestess doesn't have it. No Orb of Lightning on the Orc, but we also are only on tier 2. As both players prepare for the inevitable, an engagement at the Expo of Raven. Trying to get into good position as to not get in range of these towers. Those towers will rip apart those Huntresses. As both players kind of dance. The dance has begun. Doing everything they can. They're playing chicken at the moment. Who is going to be the first to cave? Kato says, not today. I'm going to go and destroy your shop. Eliminate you. from buying any more town portals, any more clarities, any more healing salves. Those days are over. Another purchase here. Healing scrolls have been purchased. And that shop on Echo Isles is very critical. There is only one shop. So whoever can get here, get those invuln pots, get those healing scrolls, has a big advantage in battles. Because the other player doesn't have a shop to go buy them from. And we have one heal scroll on the Alchemist, one heal scroll on the Shadow Hunter. Mass Archers slightly out of position, but not really. They are able to reposition. Whiffs in the front will drain some of that mana. One archer does fall, as some focus fire on the barracks, but we are now shifting over. Entangle on the grunts. Treants are here, and we do have Healing Spray doing everything it can to sustain the front line of the Night Elf army. Lightning Shield on the Blade Master, as the Blade Master is here doing high DPS to the Huntresses right now, getting rid of that front line to allow the grunts to come in and get damage on these archers, but Healing Spray is a lot of healing income for the Night Elf army. Blade Master doing everything it can to take out that front line, and now the grunts taking down the last of the front line here, but the Night Elf is very strong right now. We have Healing Scroll just being popped. Was that a dust? Or nope, that was Scroll Protection. +2 armory for all of the Night Elf army. Focus Fire on the Blade Master. Invuln popped. Illusions are now dispelled. They are now gone. Priestess is here with True Shot Aura. Blade Master is weak. We don't have a shop to buy heal salves or healing potions. The orc has to retreat with only 42 food. And grunts, can we get a... Nope, no mana for an entangle, and not enough to get a surround either. But the barracks will fall. This is the only barracks that the orc has to produce grunts. This would be a big deal. No more grunts will threaten the Night Elf army. And now it's time for the burrows. They are reinforced. It will take a little bit of extra firepower to get those burrows down. And Raven really needs to pivot here. What is Raven going to do? We have an extra shop down here and another barracks being built at the expo. Lightning Orb, this will help purge some of the Night Elf army, keep the archers locked down. But there are a lot of archers and more on the way, as fairy dragons are now here to disrupt the shaman.
Player's forces.
There's not a lot of anti-air from the grunts or the Blade Master either, but now the Blade Master does have Orb that will help. And Orb of Lightning so crucial for the Blade Master to get some of those purges on the archers. The archers are starting to get focus fired by the grunts. The grunts do so much damage to the archers, so does the Blade Master. Can you get an additional archer kill? That archer does fall, and 3 archers in return for a stronghold. It is looking grim for our orc player, Raven. We need a real miracle here to swing this around. We can start producing grunts again, but keep in mind, we have a fully undamaged expo, unthreatened, fairy dragons on the way to help with the shaman, to help deal with the grunts. Hunts to have the front line. High damage archers for the back line. A lot of DPS from the Night Elf army. This is looking more and more dangerous. And more grim for Raven. It's going to take incredible micro and positioning to have any shot against this threatening Night Elf army. Almost a 38 food difference. As the Great Hall is being rebuilt. No upgrade coming on the expo. Decent amount of economy here. 9,000, almost 10,000 left at the expo. 5,000 left at the main. 7,000 here, 3,000 here. So 10,000 gold left to be mined for Kato. And about 15,000 left to be mined. So you can see we have a nice 5,000 gold advantage for Raven. That's a lot. And here we go. Potentially our last engagement of the game. The Fairy Dragons are in position to deal damage to, via Mana Flare, to those Shaman. Healing Spray coming in to keep that front line sustained, to deal with those grunts as the archers just fire arrows to those grunts. So much damage to those grunts. The Blade Master running around, but no more mana for Windwalk. and the Shamans must reposition. However, they are easy targets for these archers. They will be melted as the Blade Master is focused on. Purge is used on that entangle. Blade Master is able to be freed, but is it enough? The Night Elf doesn't even care about these towers. It's just going to play right inside of the Expo, eat the arrows, and will reposition slightly as it falls to 70 food versus 35 food. This Blade Master is getting scary. If you can keep that Blade Master healed, keep the Blade Master with mana, that Blade Master can start doing a lot of damage to those archers. A lot. With critical strikes and orb, can lock those archers down, can turn the tide of the battle. And Raven just doing everything he can to stay in this game. This is a hard expo to crack. The towers are in good position. If Raven can keep a good position throughout the fights, keep those Shaman protected, because they will melt. Taking extra damage from piercing. They will melt. Those archers will destroy those Shaman from long range. As they provide bloodlust to the very few damage-dealing units of our grunt player, as the impending army is just awaiting its time to strike. Gonna pick up a couple mercenaries here. Troll Berserker. To help bolster the Orc army as it now reaches 49 food, still staying under upkeep, getting everything the Orc can out of these mines. As the main base is now operational yet again, and Blade Master here to pick off maybe a ballista. A Purge here would be very nice. There's the Purge, just enough to keep it locked down. Oh, but it is staffed out and protected by the Keeper. Very nice. As Blade Master will start focusing down those archers, but we have Healing Spray coming in to sustain the Night Elf army. Lightning Shield is cast on the Blade Master, dealing as much damage as possible to those archers. Popping Mirror Image, as the archers are now starting to focus down the Shaman. The Shaman are falling left and right. 1 Shaman, 2 Shaman, 3 Shaman fall. 1 is almost dead. But it forces a TP from Kato. Kato playing it safe. Kato has both bases fully operational. Tier 3. Pumping out some Huntresses. Going to break into high upkeep. Going for that 100 food army. The game ender.
Forces are under attack.
And Raven, if didn't know already, now knows the base is mildly protected by an Ancient Protector. Maybe with a couple more grunts, a couple more units, can start to actually turn the tide of this game. And Raven has been able to somehow, miraculously, stay in the game. 2 level 4 heroes. The Orc heroes will get very strong the later the game goes. A level 6 Blade Master could completely change the game itself. 1 Blade Storm on that whole archer could take out the whole archer army. Just 1.
Players' forces are under attack.
And here we go, as the creep is being finished down in the south, up to the north. Kato going to try to cancel this Great Hall yet again. This Gargantuan Sea Turtle will fall and reward a Claws of Attack. Probably going to go to that Blade Master for some additional DPS against those archers. Those archers are going to start melting via presence from critical strikes and lightning orb purges from the Blade Master. And instead, we're going to keep the claws on the Shadow Hunter, plus 11. Blade Master sitting at plus 9. Question here, would it be nice to give those claws to the Blade Master to amplify that critical strike damage? As the Grey Hall falls again, and now Orc is back to 1 base.
Players' forces are under attack.
And Raven has had enough. Raven will fight at his original home base. Grunts are here targeting the archers, but the sustained healing spray coming from the Alchemist. Blade Master doing everything I can to whittle down the Keeper of the Grove, single targeting the Keeper of the Grove with the Blade Master. The archers are focus firing down. These grunts, Shaman, are safe in the back. Ballistas are firing down. Lightning Shield on the grunt, but it is exploded by a ballista. And the Alchemist falls. Blade Master popping out of Windwall, killing the Alchemist, removing that sustained healing capability from the Night Elf player. Night Elf still sits at 76 food, as the Blade Master is now level 5. Opting in for level 3 Mirror Image, just like game 1. 1 more Grunt will fall. as level 5, the Keeper now. Strong Entangle on the Blade Master, but Invuln is popped to save the Blade Master. And Raven somehow staying in this game. And will retreat.
Players' forces are under attack.
As the Shadowhunter reaches level 5.8.
The town is under siege.
One couple more unit kills and you now have Invulnerability, which can be canceled with Entangle. So it's not going to be too valuable. It can be canceled. But what I'm more interested in is, can this Blade Master get Blade Storm? Because that will turn the whole game around. Priestess, level 2 True Shot Aura, giving the archers +5 damage. It's a big deal. That's a lot of DPS increase from the backline. Also from the glaives. And one glaive will fall, pops out of Windwalk, and Blade Master 104 crits. Going to target now the Priestess of the Moon. Shadowhunter falls. A little mistake there as Entangle and Focus Fire results in the death of the Shadowhunter. But the Blade Master is going after this Priestess of the Moon and will be entangled, will be stopped in its tracks. And GG is called by Raven. Kato takes the series 2-0 as Perfectly Balanced takes 2 points this week, and the Monkeys take 1.